Okay. Um. All right. So that's a sample of "Summon the Rock" from Kevin McLeod. It is the theme for Mimic Ranges. What is Mimic Ranges? Well, Mimic Ranges. I'm totally not paying attention to the camera. I'm sorry. Yeah. Mimic Ranges is a Power Rangers game that I made. Well, am still making using the Henshin System. It's a tabletop game to basically replace my craving for the last Power Rangers game that I was in. That was with my husband. That was called Akiba Rangers, which is basically Power Rangers taking place in Akiba, which is the like otaku capital of Japan, and the world, pretty much. Um, so you can think of like the Akiba's Trip, Akiba Beat. Those types of games are very centered on the location. Um, and one of them's a bit more risque than the other, but it really isn't that risque since the characters don't actually get nude. They just burst in the flame when they are in their underwear, because that's how you kill the vampires, which is kind of weird, but it was a fun game. Uh, Akiba Beat, I'm sure I'll probably play a lot more than that because it's a little less on the sketchy side. But yeah, getting distracted. My name's Kaylin. Yes, I'm a transgender. No, I am not wearing a bra right now, so it's not obvious at all. And I'm just kind of sitting here awkwardly. Um, so back to the topic. Mimic ranges. Let me pop up the info so I can give you a brief summary of it. So it's basically Power Rangers and Mega Man. It's kind of a mix of Mystic Force, Gokai Ranger, and Mega Force. Um, the Rangers are able to take the powers of their enemies because the enemy's powers actually come from these meteorites that are infected with a space virus, which actually, when it merges, like if it hits, some type of creature, or basically if it touches whatever creature it touches at first, it converts its whole like strand to that creature, and then whoever wields it afterwards basically gets that. So a frog touches it first, and some goon picks it up, and all of a sudden he's got gills and sharp, webbed hands and feet, and he looks like the creature from the Black Lagoon. Um, a fruit, not a fruit bat, but a one of those bats that sucks on blood that's in like Africa, it hits one of their nests and some guy picks it up. He's Dracula or a man bat. And he can drink blood to sustain life and stuff like that. Now, the Rangers, it's their job to stop this whole like cataclysmic event and to rid the planet of the virus. There is more than that. There's going to be a big bad. I mean, the first episode has Serpentina, Tira, Tina, whatever it's called. So you kind of know what big red scary like boss is coming back for the first episode, and he has like a minor role, but he'll be involved off and on in the series. Same with a few of the other classics. Um, oh, I am just like reading off of this thing. I'm on. Let me switch this to this. Pop that up. so that way you can see. But yeah, so um, it's basically an apocalyptic future, and it's very medieval designed, but all of like our present day and like futuristic laser gun stuff like that is lost tech that the current um humans on the planet, the current residents of the planet, because there's more than just humans, um try to monitor, control, keep balanced. And yeah, so that's what Henshin Ranges is. I'm gonna stop the video now, and then I'm gonna restart it up in a few minutes to go over character creation. I just called it Henshin Ranges. Wow, Mimic Ranges is. Um, these are not the main cast at all. These are artwork by Lyzerkit, and the ranges are artwork by Jackamis, Jackad, Jackad, Miss, or whatever. Um, these two, and that's the Mystic Force pinup, and I just modified it and gave them credit since it's their artwork. This is just the layout for the game. These are the current wanted creatures and monsters of the week that are floating around. And it's just a very unique setting. Think Mad Max mixed with Lord of the Rings. So, like the movie Doomsday is a perfect example of it. Think the anime Gate. Um, trying to think of all the different examples I listed. There was a few others. Here we go. Horizon Zero Dawn, except for there's Power Rangers. Zoid's Chaotic Century or Guardian Force, except for there's Power Rangers. Power Ranger Go Geiger for a feel, but more medieval. The Doomsday movie, Gate is a perfect example of the setting, like absolutely perfect. And that's basically the feel, and the fact that it is got like a Mega Man-esque type setting, because let's face it, when you look at the sheet, number one, I've done a lot of research on here. So why is that not popping up? No, oh, because I'm clicking recent uploads. Whoops. All right. So right there, that is the morphing grid. Uh, it's actually a picture of Sybil, the Sybil system from Psychopaths. And each one of these containers is where a meteorite or a Murpha coin or a sample of an element is placed. Um, Two characters I haven't uploaded yet. I have the picture of one that I was working on right here. This is the princess, which is actually one of my old character tokens I was modifying. Princess Cleo of Cleo Henshin. She's the daughter of King Jack and Queen Mel, and she is the apprentice to Shiro Miyagi, who is a wizard who is actually kind of a younger, blonde, suave aristocrat. And they modified the shields that knights use, which is a light shield, to become the morphers and manipulate the material that's inside of them. Now, right here's a perfect example of it. So this is a couple of artwork that I got off of Google and modified. So right there would be Mystic Ranger design for green, plus the crystal that touched a frog. You get like a Kamen Rider Amazon look with the powers of the creature from the Black Lagoon. Um, the way they use the morpher is they place the stone meteorite. Um, oh, I clicked it. Morpher coin or anything in the center where the circle is. It clamps down like that, does the sparks, and it transforms them into that. That is also how they use the shield. It's a light shield. That's why it opens up like this. And it also is their gun. They use it like a Mega Man blaster, and they launch energy waves and energy projectiles out of the center there. It also has various uses based off of the knight and their weapon. My younger brother who's playing is using um, right here. So he is using a sai with a mace on the end of it, and that actually attaches to the shield in the center. And he can throw the shield and spin it above his head because it's not actually connected to the device. The device is projecting a form of light that is hardened. So that's how they get the whole aspect and kind of weapon. And then based off of what they put in it, like the frog, which is the Kamen Rider Black Lagoon type creature, that ranger, when it mutates into that, the weapon will change. So this will have the element of like water and slime, and it will be able to like basically stun people with the hammer end. And best way to say that is when it's covered in a toxin, you know. The size when it cuts, same thing. It's the fact that it has water, it just makes the whole thing kind of slippery and slimy to give a handicap to the enemy. Um, yeah, that's basically that example of it. We've been recording for about 12 minutes. Um, basic, so basically that's how the game's gonna play. Now, actual terms of playing, we are using the Henshin system, which is pay what you want on Drive Through RPG. Um, it's actually a very laid back, fluffy system. So I'm gonna actually go and open it up and show you it. I won't show you the ones that you can buy for like $2, but because number one, you know, you can purchase those if you want it. Number two, they're just really fluff. They're not even actually required for like any of it. So there's that one and there's that one. And somehow I opened up the friggin' world thing, and that's gonna drive me crazy. And I got it closed up before it came up. Alright. So basically the way this game is played is you take turns. Um, right here is what the character sheets look like. These are just examples. I put these templates into the game for people. And this is how you form the squad with people. So this is going to be an actual concept we have to do with the players. And then right here is the actual gameplay style. So you have to have like the Sentai and the squad built for the main session. You need to ask players to read aloud their color flavor text before they choose one. Like, you know, they basically read off their character things. So it's like red, pink, green, you know, the way you morph, the Ninja Steel Blue, Mastodon, stuff like that. Um, Basically, they choose one or two tasks to create the character, or you make up your own. You have a special move and questions. Creating a monster is just an aspect. Uh, write a regular turn, but what does write down a heavy turn, write down a light turn. Um, so basically, uh, the turns are how you play, and you use tokens and you pass the tokens around. So, perfect example, a regular turn is just whatever you can do whenever. Um, during a battle, it doesn't cost you anything to separate, doesn't cost you anything to describe the scene to someone else. You can cause drama, you know. You can, like, this is just regular stuff. They don't cost any bennies. Like using someone's power against them. So, like, if somebody is using the element fire, it's going to affect them in some way or form. Like if they're walking across a rope bridge and they've got the element fire on, maybe they don't want to be on fire. And then, situations. Then you get to use a light or a heavy turn. So heavy turns can be taken after lights, and lights can be taken after heavy. Reveal threats of the monster. Remind the civilian responsibilities to the players. Offer the opportunities with choices or costs. Put someone on the spot. This is all GM stuff, but this is basically the same feel for players. So, like, gain a take. So, light turns. You get a light turn token, which at light turns add the bennies. Heavy turns subtract the bennies or the tokens. So, heavies are what you'll use to transform, what you'll use to summon your Zord, what you'll use to use one of your powers. Lights are how you gain those. And then regulars is basically, basically just doing what would be considered like free movement. So an example, pull a prank gone wrong for this character's template. Fail to react and cower. Endanger someone instead of accomplishing something. Act childish when someone expects better of you. Ask someone, why don't I understand about the world yet? All of those during a scene, if you do one of those or multiple, gain you a Benny or a token. And that's what you use for here. And I feel like I'm doing this around in circles. But yeah, special moves. When you've taken an opportunity to prove what you've learned, they receive the token. So a special turn is literally what you can do to give somebody else a Benny or a token. Best way to say it. So like black, when you accept the support of someone weaker, your next heavy mood does not cost you a token. Blue, when you accept the support of someone stronger, your next heavy mood does not cost you a token. Red, when you take to solving someone's problem, they gain the token. So the special move is how you can help each other basically overcome the situation. Tasks are what you're working towards, and basically your character definition. And then raises is basically how you would end the scene. And well, not the scene, but end the character. So like, you become better, you raise, or you pass the torch on, or you die. That raising is like ending the whole game, the whole character, and starting anew. And it's basically how you can, you know, get situations. Um, it may be a little different than I anticipated because when I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, some of this is a little different than I thought. You're without a doubt the anchor. This is what pink is. Um, first and hot second. No one will think you're a pushover. Describe why. So that is like one thing. Retiring your character swaps powers with someone, loses your powers, steps down, or disappears. Describe what happened to you at those moments. Your suit, weapon, or mech became undeniably better. Describe how. Start each episode with a token from now on. So that one actually adds to your token pool. Um, that's how it works. It's really not super complicated. It's slowly passing tokens to the game master and the game master passing them back to you. When you when you spend a token, it leaves the pile. I'm doing it as a group. When I spend a token, it goes back to your pile. So it's, you know, a lot easier, a lot more fluid, but it's also not really a dice system and it's more fluff. And yeah, I've been talking for like 22 minutes and I think only the players will probably listen to this if not in their entirety and they'll just wing it, which I don't, you know. And if they yeah, that's pretty much it. So we'll do character creation in a moment.